So there are 8 games left in the championship season, and I thought in today's video, why don't I tell you guys who I think will get promoted from the championship to the Premier League, and also talk about the teams that I think will finish in those playoff positions. But before I do that, guys, can we smash the like button on today's video? The more likes I get on my videos, the better the video does. And as we're doing a championship video, we want to reach out to more championship supporters, so please smash that like button on today's video, and also drop a comment down below on your teams which you think will get promotion from the championship to the Premier League and also finish in the playoffs. Basically what I'm trying to say is, do me your top 6 and also tell me who you think will go up through those playoff positions. So who do I think will go up? Now firstly, we're just going to get them out of the way because I think it's quite clear that they are going to go up from the championship to the Premier League, and that is Burnley. Company has done a fantastic job. In the summer, they needed to rebuild. They needed players in the summer. They had a lot of money because obviously a lot of players left to obviously stay in the Premier League or go elsewhere. So they had lots of funds available, and they haven't bought the league in my opinion. They've got a pot of money. They had like, I think 13, 14 players at the start of the season, so they needed to bring players in. They recruited very smartly. They recruited players for a certain style of play which company wants to play. He's retransformed Burnley's style of play from Dice to his style, and it's worked extremely well. You know, they are getting results in the championship. They've been consistent. You know, I've been very impressed with them in certain games. You know, unfortunately the games which they played against Luton, I didn't think they were that good, but maybe that was because Luton were doing a lot better. You know, I'm not too sure there, but you know, in majority of the games which I've seen Burnley, they have been a very good side. Goals are in there. Yes, they do have a few loan players, so there would be a few question marks for next season if they keep those loan players. But overall, that squad has done really well. It's got a mix of youth, it's got a mix of experience as well. And you know what? Company's done a great job, and they deserve to be the winners of the championship. You know, they have done a fantastic job. Now, let's talk about that second place. Now, for me, it's between 2 teams. It's Middlesbrough and Sheffield United. Now, although Luton are only 2 points away from Middlesbrough, I don't think we've got enough in our system to get that second place spot. And with EFL officials being what they are, you know, costing teams, you know, points, and they have been doing that, let's be honest. You know, the officiating in the championship has just got a lot worse. You know, Luton were robbed of 3 points against Sunderland. We may have not played the best that day, but to give penalties for dives towards Sunderland, you know, for me, that just stuff like that will stop Luton getting second place. You know, unfortunately we don't have like the squad depth and the squad quality compared to Middlesbrough and Sheffield United to know, you know what, we can rotate it and still grind out results still. It's just not possible for us. It really isn't. You know, we're already on a tight budget as it is, so I do think it's going to be between Middlesbrough and Sheffield United. You know, if you said to me at the start of the season it would be between those two, you know, I wouldn't say no to that. It probably would have been between those 2 clubs, but it's just because Middlesbrough at the start of the season obviously didn't hit the ground running. Wilder couldn't grind out results, and they just weren't the same side. You know, they just weren't the same side compared to what this Michael Carrick style of football is producing. So at the moment, it's Sheffield United between Middlesbrough, is what I'm trying to say. Sheffield United, for me, over the last, I think since the start of the year, I've started to see cracks within the side. I feel like they are out of the 2 teams, they are the most likely for me to drop out because of the cracks which I've seen so far. You know, dropping points, not showing up at home. They didn't show up at home against Luton, and yeah, I just see a different, you know, Middlesbrough side compared to the start of the season. That for me, that's given me a lot more confidence in them finishing second. You know, since Michael Carrick's obviously came in, yes, style of football's got a lot better. They're grinding out results. Players that weren't performing under Wilder are now performing under Michael Carrick. They got Archer, they got Akpon up top. You know, both players can score goals. The only thing that will let Michael Carrick down is probably would be the defence, if anything. But even then, I still think they'll be okay. They've got plenty of goals within them, and they're kind of doing what Nottingham Forest were doing last season. You know, they had the good squad there last year, Nottingham Forest, but then yeah, they just went on that really good run of form. And I just think personally Middlesbrough will get second, and if they don't get second, then they'll 100% go up through the playoffs, because that run of form, that momentum, the quality, you know, the depth within the squad, it's there. I would like to know what Michael Carrick does with a pre-season and having a full season. I would love to know what he does, but until then we have to wait and see, because he is a very intelligent player. Is he an intelligent manager? We'll have to see, because at the moment this is Wilder's team. You know, this is still the, you know, he built this group of players. Yeah, Archer came in January, and Carrick got 1 or 2 additions in. But this is still mainly Wilder's group of players, so it'd be interesting to see what Michael Carrick does going forward. So, let's talk about the teams that I think will finish in those playoff positions. So, if obviously Middlesbrough don't go up, they will obviously finish 3rd in the playoffs positions. And then if Sheffield United don't go up, they would be like the 3rd team. So, that's that. Enough said for those 2 clubs. Luton, I do think we will finish in those playoff positions. I think we've beaten a lot of the teams around us so far this season. I feel like since Rob Edwards has come into the side, we're playing much better football. We're mix and matching. We can go direct. We can play the ball on the ground. We're also in a much stronger position compared to last season. We're not just relying on certain individuals. We've got more individuals stepping up to the plate now. Last year we had really bad injury problems. This year we still have the odd injury, but we're still in a much stronger position compared to last year. And if I'm being honest with you, you know, when we've had key players go out injured, we've still managed to cope and still grind out results. And also, right now to the end of the season, we've still got to play teams around us. So I feel like it's in our hands. I actually think it's pretty confirmed that we are going to finish in those playoff positions. We would have to do something really stupid or have a really bad run of form from now to the end to not get into them. We've got to play teams around us, as I've already said. You know, we've got to play Blackburn away, we've got to play Middlesbrough at home, we've got to play Watford at home as well. So we're playing teams around us. We're also playing teams down at the bottom as well. So it's in our own hands, and I feel like we've pretty much cemented that. So those are the top 4 teams which I think will be in the top 6. Now it's the bottom 2 which I have a few question marks. Now Blackburn, one of the teams which are in, competing for those playoff positions, I actually don't think they've been that good. Every time I've watched Blackburn play, I just don't see it. I'm surprised that they are where they are in the Championship. I'll be brutally honest. I didn't think, you know, they had a squad, you know, that is capable of getting into those playoff positions. I've been really shocked, I have to admit. Obviously at the start of the season when they were just winning and losing, there was no real like momentum going there. But even now, I think it's got better over the course of the season. But I still don't see it. I still don't. You know, if you are a Blackburn fan watching this, just let me know in the comments, like, what are you doing that's keeping you guys in those playoff positions? Because when I watch you guys, I just don't see a team that's going to get in there. I look at Coventry, I look at Millwall, I look at West Brom. I do see those 3 sides getting in there over Blackburn, unfortunately, right now. And obviously we are going to talk about those 3 sides in a minute. But yeah, I just don't really see Blackburn getting in there. I really don't. Yes, you know, going forward, you know, there's plenty of goals there. It's at the back is where I question mark. Can they do it defensively? That is the real question. Yes, they've got Diaz, they've got Bradley Dack. You know, the goals are there going forward, but I just don't think defensively it's there. Let's talk about Millwall. Millwall, you know, get out under Gary Rowett. I think Gary Rowett's done a fantastic job with Millwall. Obviously, one of the, you know, the lowest budget teams in the division alongside Luton. I think the style of football which Gary Rowett's doing, it's got a little bit better. He has changed the system a little bit, and that's grinding out more wins for them. Obviously, Fleming as well, the attacking player, he's done a fantastic job. I think the only issue or the only question mark with Millwall is defensively. We know they're solid. You just know that. That's just a typical Millwall side. It's just the goals department. You know, Bradshaw, they are heavily relying on him. He's probably their only fit striker who can actually get the goals going. So if he gets injured or if anything happens to him, that's when the goals could dry up, and yeah, that's when, you know, grinding out results against the teams around them could be quite challenging. So that'd be the only thing that will let Millwall down. But I think on current form, I do think Millwall will get into those playoff positions. And then you've got West Brom, and then you've got Coventry. Coventry for me, if the big man up top, Victor, if he gets that injury or gets anything bad happens to him, then I don't think Coventry will get into those playoff positions. But right now, I actually think Coventry will get into those positions over West Brom especially. I think West Brom, since Carlos has come in, I think, yeah, defensively they've got a lot better. They have grinded out results, but I feel like they've got a problem within their system. I feel like they're not playing their best players in the correct positions. Swift and Wallace, for example, I don't think you're getting the best out of those two. Swift for me is probably the best number 10 in the championship, and Wallace for me is probably one of the best wingers in the championship, and I don't even think those two players are even playing in their best position. So I just don't think if you're doing that, I just don't think it's going to happen. And also seeing the way they've been playing recently, well, seeing the way they've been playing under Carlos, it's very similar to how how he was doing it under Huddersfield. Set pieces, counter attack, that transitional play, but it's breaking teams apart, and that's where I think West Brom are. I have a few question marks there, but that squad is still more than capable, you know, of getting into those playoff positions, and they could prove me wrong and get in ahead of Coventry as well. And then you've got two other teams which I thought I might as well bring up, as they are in and around there. Norwich, you know, I've been hearing a few things from Norwich fans, and I feel like Norwich just need a season away from the playoffs. I know it sounds mad because you want to get into those playoff positions and go up, but if Norwich went up this year, you can just be dead certain that they would go straight back down again. And do Norwich fans really want that? Would you like to, you know, rebuild again and, you know, get players that maybe are young and, you know, and hungry and ready, and then want to step up to the Premier League rather than doing what you're currently doing? I feel like there's been a few players at Norwich that is probably their time's up at Norwich. You know, I look at Pukki, for example. I think his time's up now. Maybe have someone else in who can do the job. So yeah, I feel like they just need a season away from the Premier League. I know with the money situation as well, you know, the more seasons you're out of the Premier League, the worse it gets. But I do think maybe this year was just have a rebuild, have a transitional like year, and then go again properly next year, but at a much stronger, at a much rebuilt squad and a much better squad is what I'm trying to say. And then the last team, which I didn't really want to talk about, but I kind of have to, which is Watford. Luton play Watford this Saturday. The big one. It's the first time it's at home at Luton. I think in like over 15 years or something like that, and with fans in the stadium. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that myself. But do I think Watford will go up? Hell no. They just have themselves to blame, really, Watford. You know, and the owners are just a disgrace. You know, they think sacking managers week in, week out is just going to be, you know, it's just going to work for them. I don't see an identity within Watford, and to be fair, their best performance was against us, you know, last year when they beat us 4-0, which really hurts to say that. But, you know, we know they've got good attacking options. You know, you look at Sarr, for example, you know, someone saying to me he's worth 50 million pound. You got Pedro, you got you know, Davis, who was on loan at Nottingham Forest last year. You know, their attacking options are amazing, and you do look at that, you go like, how are they where they are in the Championship? But there's just no identity within that squad. You know, once they all fall out with the manager, or the manager has, you know, 3 games without a win, that's it. The manager gets the chop. And then it's a different, you know, style of play again when the new boss comes in. Wilder's their current manager at the moment, who obviously has experience of getting promotion from the Championship to the Premier League. But if I'm being brutally honest, you know, I obviously don't want them to go up, and I just don't think they will, realistically. Defensively, that's where the problems are. Can they get over the line against certain teams? I don't think so, and I just think, you know, another season, they're kind of a bit like Norwich, really. They kind of need like a season to rebuild and retransition. I just hope that they just don't do it well when they keep rotting and going slowly down the Championship and then eventually into League 1 and League 2. You know, but that's just me being a, you know, spiteful Luton fan there. But those are my overall thoughts on the current, you know, top 6 in the Championship. Let's just repeat it once more. Burnley, I think, will win the league. I do think Middlesbrough will finish 2nd. Sheffield United will finish 3rd. Luton will finish 4th. I think Millwall will finish 5th. And Coventry will finish 6th. I reckon it's going to be quite a few shocks towards now to the end of the year. I think Coventry have done a really good job, and Mark Robins deserves a lot of praise, because I don't think he gets enough praise, as which he deserves, in my opinion. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section of the video. As I've said already at the start, please drop a like, and yeah, I'll see you guys all in the next video.